Yay Networks.
You're listening to the Chatty Daddies podcast.
Welcome to the Chatty Daddies.
A podcast. I can't do that the whole time. Okay. This intro will take forever. A podcast from three dads who think they are parenting experts.
Today I'm just talking. Today we're talking video games, sibling injuries, and more, of course.
Is everybody's life back to normal? I know we had some pipe, some water issues for Nick. There were some internet issues for JC. My life didn't change at all, so it's going perfect. Internet's all back to normal, JC.
Yeah.
Water's all back to normal. Okay, perfect.
It's crazy how life just went back to normal and the weather went back up to 70 degrees like nothing happened.
Just a quick freeze.
You know, I was talking with my wife about this, that for the first time, I'm kind of thankful for the pandemic because it kind of prepared me for a week of just shutting down at a moment's notice and having to adjust to job responsibilities, family responsibilities. You know, kids aren't going to daycare. So it was a little easier to make that transition this time. It was colder, but it was easier.
My favorite meme that I saw regarding this whole thing was this dude I think he's from San Antonio, and he had his gun out and he was pointing it at the sun, and it said, "If you ever leave us again, I swear to God," or something like that.
It's crazy. Hopefully all back to normal. Hopefully everyone gets all their issues worked out and they're not screwed over.
Now we can get the kids to go back outside, right? You don't have to sit them in front of the video games or anything?
See, that's the issue I am having, guys. So I picked up a new hobby because we didn't have internet. I started puzzling, and I love it, right?
Yeah.
And I thought this would be something cool that my kids and I could do. Unfortunately, my wife bought us a 500-piece set, and my kids were out after like 2 minutes. But
that's a long puzzle for a kid to put together.
But basically, I have noticed that I'm screwing up with this whole... I know there's a big argument about video games and how long kids should be playing video games. I'm a gamer myself. Trey, I know you like to play video games.
I love to play a video game or two.
Nick, are you a gamer?
Nope, not at all.
Okay, so growing up, my mom only allowed me to play on weekends. And so I looked forward to Fridays. We would go to Blockbuster Video, rent the video game, and play. It was the thing I looked forward to the most.
Now, did you hate your mom the whole time? Like, why won't she let me play? It's a Wednesday. I finished my homework.
No, because you know what? I didn't play during the week, so it was never an issue for me. I went outside instead. And me being the dad that I want to give my kids something better than what I had, so I started allowing Kaysen to play during the week as long as he has good grades and he doesn't get in trouble and he does what we ask him to do chores-wise or homework-wise. And he is really good about that. But I have noticed that there are certain times, like yesterday, we were getting our house ready to sell, and so I took the kids on a nature walk and we went to a creek and we had a really good time, and I had them out till like 6:30. And our bedtime... we start winding it down at 7:30. We go to bed at 8 at the latest. Mm-hmm. And so we got home, and he automatically was like, all right, I'm going to go play Fortnite. And I said, no, we had a good day, man. It's already almost bedtime. Let's have dinner together. Let's hang out, talk. And he lost it. He started flipping out on me. He's like, but I need to play Fortnite. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what Kinsey has been talking about. And I've been fighting with her the whole time. I was like, I know video games are an issue, but I'm telling you, he's fine. He's a smart kid. He's doing well. But he's showing me that his behavior when he doesn't have these video games is almost like an addiction, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's scaring me now to the point where I had to sit him down yesterday and I said, listen, dude, I'm going to have to take away video games during the week like I had it when I was a kid. Now I understand where my mom was coming from. And back then I only had Mario Kart. I didn't have like these Fortnite games that are super dope or Call of Duty and all that stuff. I had Mario Kart and Mario Brothers. And so I looked at him and he looked at me and goes, I don't have a problem. I just want to play. And I said, look, you have real tears in your eyes right now. Okay? Because I'm not letting you play Fortnite for one night. But when I go out of town for business, you don't cry. You don't miss me, right? Right? I had to show him like how ridiculous this video game addiction is, right? And I had to tell him, I was like, if you don't get to go outside when it was snowing, you didn't shed a tear because you couldn't go outside and play with your friends. But look how you're acting because you can't play a video game for one day. And I swear, I feel like in his head, it clicked finally. He's like, oh, my dad made sense.
Yeah,
Holy
right?
crap.
I was going to say, that's a pretty good argument. Going, hey, you don't cry over me, buddy.
Yeah.
What's that about?
I'm like, bro, I go for business trips and I'm gone for an entire week with you guys when we go on our charity trip. And I'm like, you don't cry one bit that your dad is gone and I birthed you. You came out of my penis.
You can play more Fortnite.
Yeah. So it's one of those. Now I'm stuck and I feel like I've given him something and I don't know how to reel it back. Because I don't want to take it away. You don't do that as a parent, right?
Yeah, I
don't know how to.
Anything in moderation, you know.
Yeah.
If it's, I've seen a trend on TikTok. I think I've fallen into parenting TikTok.
Yeah.
Which is just in itself, it sounds like. I'm trying to learn how to keep my kids off screen time by watching TikTok videos.
Exactly. But what a lot of people I've seen do, and I don't think I had any friends do this when they were kids, but their parents will let the kids earn like play money. So they're learning the value of money.
Yes.
So whether you're doing a chore, you can earn $10 of Monopoly money. Or if you do 10 extra problems of math homework, you can earn some other dollars. And then you can use that to like get some snacks in the pantry. You can use that for 30 minutes of screen time, for 30 minutes of game time or iPad time. So
I love
whenever
this idea,
whenever my kids grow up a little bit more like, man, maybe I could do something like that where they're learning the value of money. They're learning to get excited and to plan ahead for if they do want to play that video game. They think, okay, here's the steps I have to do to play that game. And then hopefully once they understand how it works, there won't be those giant meltdowns. It's, time's out. I need to pay 10 more play dollars or whatever it is.
No,
that is a great idea. Actually, I think I'm going to adopt that.
There was this same premise that was very controversial a few years ago because a mom was doing that. She was letting her kid earn money for allowance with chores and whatnot, and then was making him pay rent out of his allowance.
Oh, right. Yes. I've seen the tough
That's
parents
too much.
do that.
Okay, but I mean, it was like you have to pay me 70 cents for like the whole clickbait headline was "Mom makes kid pay rent out of his allowance to teach him a lesson," when really she was like, giving him $10 for all of his chores, and then he had to pay $1 to for rent.
Here's $1 for rent, and then another 50 cents for food all week, and then it's just like, stuff adds up.
That was the whole point of her lesson, was that when you make money, it's not just sitting there. You have to think about how much you need to make so that you can pay rent, you can pay for food, you can pay for whatever, and then whatever you have left over is for fun.
Yeah, but taxes.
I love it.
You got to take taxes out.
You got to take the taxes. You got to teach them about taxes. The only problem I do have is that we got to come together as parents because there are some kids out there. Kaysen's allowed to play for about an hour and a half at the most, and he's off. So there are some parents that let their kids play for like 4 hours, and he uses that against me. He'll be like, well, so-and-so's parents let him play for 5 hours or 4 hours. So-and-so's parents let him do this. So-and-so's parents let him stay up all night on the weekends. And I'm like, ooh.
Well, that's not my kid, and those are terrible parents.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, I definitely had the friends, too, that, their parents were way looser on all the rules.
Oh, yeah.
They could have fast food every night, and it didn't matter. But then, there was always rules back at my house.
Yeah.
But I found, speaking of TikTok, and I watch so much TikTok that every story I have, somehow TikTok is involved.
Yeah, it does seem to be controlling your life right now.
So I found a TikTok, and it's of a mom, and she's talking about how her and her sister both had kids right around the same time, and how they raised them completely differently, and then how the kids turned out.
I breastfed for a year, and she started her kids on formula about 3 weeks in. I stayed home. She went back to work. My kids have always been on a very strict sleeping schedule. Hers really never were on a schedule. I only ever fed my kids organic home-cooked food. Her kids ate Little Debbie's mini muffins out of a package in front of their iPads. And now that they're a little bit older, do you know what the biggest difference is? What? Nothing. Oh. I mean, her kids might be a little nicer than mine. Oh. But other than that, they're exactly the same. So if you're in the middle of like self-turmoil about any of the decisions I just mentioned, just know it doesn't matter a iota to who these children will grow up to be. Their health and happiness comes first. And anyone who makes you feel bad for any of those decisions is a piece of shit.
Yeah. You tell them.
Why'd you bring up Yoda in the middle of that?
Iota.
Iota.
When I heard that word, I was like, is she using that correctly? And I think she is. I did not look it up.
No, it sounds right to me to the ear.
But listen, I think as us parents, every decision seems like it's the biggest deal ever. No matter if it's your kid playing an hour or an hour and a half of Fortnite, or if it's your kid didn't eat this piece of celery at dinner time, or whatever it is, in the end, those things aren't going to matter as much as probably the big things like, hey, be a nice person.
Right.
Exactly.
You know?
It's all what we teach them. Our job as parents is to love them, give them shelter, maybe a couple boundaries so they don't get, you don't want them running wild, but that makes me feel better hearing that girl say that, actually.
I want to know how early on the psychological, imprint actually happens, because I think I'm making my kid a midnight snacker for the rest of his life.
Well, he's how old is he?
He's 5 months old.
5 months. He's going to be having some midnight snacks here and there.
And so, but I mean, he is insistent. He ends up at about 1:45 every morning. He starts going, where's my bottle? And I have this planned in my phone. I'm like, all right, cool. 1:30, I'm going to get up, start heating up the bottle, because I know when he wakes up at 1:45, bing, bang, boom.
Smart.
We're good to go. But I think that it's going to make it where when he's 45 years old, his wife's going to be like, why are you getting out of bed to go eat Chex Mix? Is this the first psychological imprint that's possibly a problem that I've put on my kid?
No, it's the letting him cry in his crib by himself, Trey. That is where you're messing up.
I don't do that. Almost even a little bit. I go and I wake up 15 minutes early to warm his bottle so that he doesn't have to cry.
No, Trey's going to be that dad that shows up. Trey's going to be 80 years old, and Quaid's going to be a 215-pound man, and Trey's still going to show up and cuddle him.
That's right.
That's where we're leading with Trey.
Why wouldn't I? And I'm going to tell him he's a champion, a leader of men, and the king of the world, even when he's 45 and I'm 80.
I think we've talked about this before,
Don't check
but
that math.
I'll get back to your psychological issues. But at what age do you stop kissing your kids on the mouth?
I haven't kissed him on the mouth.
Well, he can't really kiss back. Do you kiss your kids, JC?
Yeah.
Okay, I kiss mine.
On the mouth?
Yeah. When does that stop?
I mean, I saw Tom Brady still doing it, so I'm just going to go with him, and he's doing pretty well.
But people give him a lot of crap for that.
And it's not every time. It's not like I'm sitting there smooching my son in the mouth.
Sure.
It's sometimes at night it's just a peck, and it's he just turns his head. I find myself now that he's getting older that I do mostly cheek kisses or forehead kisses with him. But Chloe, she kisses me, so she's the one that comes up and grabs my face and kisses me. I don't know if there's a correct answer to that. I just want them to feel love.
When I was in high school, a guy, he was just learning how to drive, so he was 15 or something, and so we were going to the movies. He picked me up, and his dad was riding with us. His dad was the passenger. My friend was driving. And so when we got to the movie theater, they just switched and we went into the movies. But when they were when the dad was coming in, they pecked on the lips. We were 15. And I was like,
okay, so
not what I thought was going to happen. And I didn't hang out with him that much. So it was kind of a new thing. I think it was the first time I met his dad. It's whoa. Okay.
Do you remember, did you kiss your dad on the lips?
No.
I don't know that I've ever gotten a kiss from my father.
I mean, I didn't know my dad until...
That explains a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't remember getting kisses from mine.
Yeah.
And I didn't know my father until he was 23, and he has yet to kiss me, too, so I don't know.
All right. What are we? Well, we're 14 minutes into this podcast, and JC mentioned he didn't know his dad again.
Well, you brought up, did your dad kiss you, and I felt left out. I wanted to be a part of the conversation.
I'll bring it back to sad JC's childhood.
I think the easiest way to determine when you stop kissing, when would you want your dad to have stopped kissing you?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's gosh, I mean, it's going to be third or fourth grade, maybe, once you really have that realization, once they would be embarrassed by it,
right,
is when I would stop, I guess.
I bet that's probably your gut feeling is probably pretty good, although some people have their gut feeling, and 15, it's still cool.
So, Trey, I don't think you're giving your kid psychological issues. He's not going to be a midnight snacker. It's great that he's on a schedule, though.
Yeah.
It's great that y'all have timed it out perfectly, but eventually, have y'all started spacing feedings out, a few minutes here and there?
We did drop a feeding. We were doing it at 11 o'clock. We'd wake him up. He goes to bed at 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere in there, and then we would wake him up at 11 and feed him one more time, then 2 o'clock, and then so on and so forth. So we dropped the 11 o'clock feeding, it's now 1:45 is when he starts to go, hey,
bring me that food, bro.
And so we have started to space some stuff out, but he still likes his 2 a.m. feeding.
Well, everybody, what I think our listeners are going to enjoy is our live conversations on stereo.
Yes.
Now, Nick and I did this last week on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. We get to interact with everybody. We're just asking dumb questions, really. If you got a fun story about being a dad, if you've got a silly story about your husband, your baby daddy, that you got one of those, join us on Stereo.
What the Stereo app does is it lets us chat directly with you, and you guys are a part of our show, because I know a lot of times you're listening like to anything that we've already talked about in this podcast, and you're probably thinking you guys are wrong, or I have it better, or I have a way that did not work out for us. Then you can directly talk to us and tell us, and we can talk to you on our live chats about it. And so that's what makes it really cool. It's like you are actually a part of the show.
Yeah, it's an extension of our podcast, basically, except this time you actually get to be a part of it. You'll get to throw in your questions. We'll listen to them. We'll answer them, and we'll have fun. You can make fun of us on there as well. You can do whatever you want. You're part of it.
Hopefully you already have the Stereo app, but if you don't, go ahead and download it today. Make your own little Bitmoji avatar. Go ahead and follow us at On The Tradio.
At Nick Adams.
At JC5, and that's JSI5.
And then you can join us live whenever we go live at 5 p.m. Central on Tuesdays.
Boys, a moment came in parenting for me recently where I thought, boy, what is happening? And how do I fix this? So I tried not to overreact. And in the moment, this probably makes me a terrible father, but in the moment, I could not help from laughing.
You laughed in this moment?
I laughed in this moment, and I'm a terrible person. I realize it, but it was kind of funny. So we're cleaning up, my wife and I, after dinner. We look over, and our kids are kind of wrestling around, and their giggles are turning to anger, into fear, into tears. And so I walk over, I'm like, all right, my daughter Ellie, she's 2, she's kind of like, they're on the couch, she's standing over my son, like almost standing on top of him. He's laying down, and her hands are like around his head or something. So I'm walking over there, I'm like, all right guys, let's go. And by the time I get over there, they're both looking at me wide-eyed, and my daughter holds her hand up, her teeny tiny hand, and it is full of my son's hair.
Is he not screaming at this point?
I was shocked. I was shocked it wasn't bleeding. I don't know if your hair bleeds when it gets ripped out, but I mean, she took a 2-year-old sized chunk of hair out of the side of his head. And it's like, it's bald where it was. It wasn't like the hair ripped in half and the roots are still there. It's roots and everything.
And he's doing like... Go ahead, JC.
She gave him like a wax job, basically.
I mean, it was just like... I could not believe that she did it. It was almost amazing, but I just could not believe that she had the strength to do it, that she would do it, and that he did not like throw her off the couch or something. Because we've always told him, hey, don't hit your sister.
Yeah.
You got to be nice to her. She's learning how to play nicely and stuff like that. I don't know how he didn't react more violently, you know?
Did this end up being a treat night then? Did he get a pudding cup after that?
I don't remember. It was getting close to bedtime, so I don't really remember what happened. But my son, he gets very loud and things just set him off. He's 4. That happens.
Yeah.
But my daughter was the one that cried the most when we had to we're introducing timeouts. So, we took her away and sat her in timeout down the hall for a second. She was losing it more than my son was. But like, it was one of those things. Have you guys ever laughed when like in a movie, when something bad happens and they just start laughing?
Yep.
And, like, I've never really experienced that in real life. I kind of just assume that's a movie thing. Like, if you wreck your car, you don't start laughing, right?
Right.
When your kid's hair gets his hair pulled out, you don't start laughing. But I was just like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? And I knew he was fine. Like, he's going to live. It's hair. It'll grow back. But it was just wild.
Man. And he's doing the long hair dad hair.
He's got longer hair right now, so it can kind of, it's kind of shaggy, so it can kind of, lay the longer hair over it. But if we were to cut it, it's kind of like right where a crease is where you would part it and stuff. So
it's a good spot.
We'll just have to wait for it to.
Is it sensitive? Can you touch it or?
At first he was. He did not like us talking about it. Like, we would go just try and look at it, and he was like embarrassed of his patch, of his bald spot. But now the last day or two, he's gotten over that a little bit. Like, my parents have seen it and kind of looked at it, and he didn't get super embarrassed over it or anything. But so I don't know if it hurts him or not. I don't think it does, or he hasn't complained about it hurting.
I'm just amazed at Davis's strength to not just
Unbelievable.
wail.
I think he was just in shock more. And at first, I don't think he really knew what happened when she pulled it out. I don't think he knew she was pulling his hair. I don't think he knew that it came out.
Right. Because he has never had that happen.
Yeah,
before.
he doesn't know what that feels like, or the ramifications of your hair getting pulled out. Like, oh, it's not there.
Right.
And Ellie, by the way, world's strongest woman competitor in the future.
Unbelievable.
That's some great strength.
Like, all she wants to do is watch Elsa and Anna, and now she's pulling out hair. Like,
right?
How did that happen? But yeah, guys, it was wild.
Now you keep her away from your hair, right? As soon as she goes for your wife's hair,
you gotta,
changing the diaper.
sit on that side of the couch. And so it's just like my wife and I, once they got to sleep, we were just like looking at each other like, what? Like we did not even know how to even start a conversation. Like, how did this happen?
What did you do with the clump of hair? Did you save it in the
good
bag
question.
like JC?
We saved it off to the side just to take pictures of it, but then we threw it away.
Okay,
but,
good.
Yeah, we don't have it anymore. But did you guys ever get in fights with your siblings or have any like crazy injuries from your siblings?
The one I can remember best is my sister was like 15 when I was 7. And she wanted her own time alone in her own room. And I, of course, wanted to hang out with my sister. Why don't you want to hang out with me? And so my mom's still at work. My sister's supposed to be watching me or whatever. I'm just outside in my rollerblades, and I want a friend. I want somebody to come hang out with me. So I go inside, still in my rollerblades, and my sister won't open the door. She's got her door locked. And I'm like, why won't you come and hang out with me? Why won't you? Boom, 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 kicking the door with my roller skates.
Oh.
And I kicked a hole through the door. It was like, because the doors are
They're like hollow in the middle.
Yeah. And so I kicked a hole right through the door and was like, oh my gosh, my mom's going to kill me.
Oh, no. The only injury, well, I'm much older than my sister is. I'm 12 years older than she is. And when I would have to stay home, because my parents worked so much, I would basically, I raised my sister basically until I graduated high school. So every time they would leave, I saw that as an opportunity to invite a girl over. And she would sit in the room, in my parents' room, and watch TV. And one time that's what was happening. And I had a girl over. I closed my door.
Yeah, you did.
And she decided this was the moment that she wanted to see what we were doing. And she opened the door, and my girlfriend at the time was there. She reacted in a way where she threw her elbow up to cover, herself, and she hit me in the eye, and she actually caused me to start bleeding because it was a straight elbow right here to the corner of the eye, and she cut me. So that's the only injury I ever suffered because of my sister, but it was because I was watching her and she opened the door when she shouldn't have.
But it was not your first sex injury, so that's a different podcast. But
speaking of daughters, Nick, yours is not the only troublemaker because Chloe, my sweet, sweet Chloe.
No, not her. She's too nice.
Of the two of your kids, I would have said it was going to be Kaysen.
Yeah, for sure.
Kaysen and he'll tell you, he's the troublemaker. He likes being the goofball. He likes being the class clown. He likes being funny and loud. But Chloe has started hanging out with a neighbor of ours who's 12 years old. And she's older, Chloe's only 7, but she comes over and she likes feeling older. Well, I caught them doing pranks. They were doing prank calls on the iPad, which is connected to my wife's phone. Now, I didn't know that this was going on, except I saw these random numbers on it. And I said, hey, what were you guys doing? And she said, oh, we were just doing pranks. And I said, well, what kind of pranks were you doing? And she said, oh, we were calling her friends from the iPad and telling them that we were in a car accident and that we were really hurt and going to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was like, Chloe, that is not a funny prank. You're telling people you're hurt. What if they called 911? What if they called the police? I'm trying to give her all these explanations of why these pranks are not funny. But now she's got the prank seed in her brain.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so the other day she was outside with Kaysen and another little neighbor, and Kaysen came back in and he goes, Chloe should be in trouble. He came straight up snitching, dude.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, she should get in trouble. She needs to lose iPad time, and that needs to turn into Fortnite time for him.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Chloe should be in trouble, and Kinsey was outside, so she knew what was happening. And Chloe follows right after him, and she looks at me, and she looks at Case, and she goes, "You told him?" And I was like, "He told me you should be in trouble, but I don't know what you did yet." She goes, "Why'd you tell him, Kaysen?" And she runs in the pantry.
Okay.
That's her hiding spot, by the way. That's where she likes to go cry, because she'll grab a little Debbie's and eat it and whatever.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot to hide.
I still don't know what she did. So I walk outside and Kinsey's out there and I go, what did Chloe do? And she goes, well, I walked out here and I caught her screaming at people because there's an open house across the street from us. She was screaming at the people, "You're not welcome here. You're not allowed. You can't. That's a bad parking spot." But she was yelling it and then hiding behind a pillar. Well, one of the people happened to be an African-American lady. Oh. And she was doing it to everyone, but you could tell, for me, I'm like, that just sounds awful.
Of course.
You know, coming from a little white girl screaming that at anybody of a different race is awful. And so I go, okay, we got to fix this. This is not right. I was like, did the lady hear her? And she goes, yeah, unfortunately, that lady was the only one that heard Chloe. So she definitely heard. And I said, okay, well, we're going to fix this. So I walked inside. Chloe's still in the pantry crying. And I said, Chloe, what I need you to do is I need you to go apologize to that lady in person. And she flipped out of embarrassment. She goes, I can't do it. I'm scared. She's screaming, making a whole scene. I was like, I don't care. You're going over there and you're going to apologize or I am going to ground you for an entire month. No iPad, no nothing, no friends, no sleepovers, no nothing. And she goes, I can't do it. And I was like, you know what? Not only are you going to say sorry, you're going to write her a note. And it took us about 25 minutes to finally get Chloe to write this note. And I had to drag her over there.
That lady's still over there?
Yeah, she was still over there. She ended up being a friend of our neighbors. So she went from the open house to our neighbor's house. Kinsey saw her go in. So we knocked on our neighbor's door. And I said, listen, I am deeply sorry. My daughter was just trying to be funny. And if anything she said was offensive, I apologize. And she has something to say to you. And she just looked at the lady and handed her the note. And the lady opened it. And she said, it's okay, sweetheart. Just remember to be nice to people. And Chloe goes, okay. And we walked away. And she was inside. And she goes, you embarrassed me. I'm like, I embarrassed you. I embarrassed you. What? I'm going through this stage where I'm like, now she's a prankster? Now I got a prankster kid?
Man, kids don't have empathy. They don't know what that is. They don't understand quite how your words have weight to them. Then they can hurt. And yeah, there's some, hey, do some phone pranks, but here's some funny things to say instead of you're seriously injured or go throw some toilet paper in someone's tree, but don't.
Because you forget that being a parent, part of being a parent is who are you going to expose your kids to when it comes to friends, right? And so the kids you expose them to, that's a lot of the times who help them develop their personality traits, not just us. And I don't want her to go down that path. So now I'm going to have to, as a parent, reel it back and maybe not let her hang out with that older neighbor as often, because I don't think she's ready to do the things that this 12, 13-year-old girl's doing.
And if they hang out a lot more, a 12, 13-year-old girl is probably going to be talking about some inappropriate stuff with how old is Chloe? 7?
7.
So yeah, who knows what can get planted. And a lot of the things that a tween knows about the human body and about sex is wrong, and then she's going to be sharing that wrong information with a girl or scaring Chloe about something that she shouldn't be scared of or whatever. But hey, JC, it's a good thing you're moving.
I know. I think
get out of there while you can.
Yeah. And nothing wrong with those kids. They're just being teenagers. But yeah, Chloe's going down that path.
That is it for this episode of The Chatty Daddies.
Hit us up anytime on social media because we like to chat with you. You can do that at Chatty Daddies or chattydaddies.com.
And remember to follow us on the Stereo app for bonus content because we go live every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central. The Chatty Daddies Podcast.
The Chatty Daddies Podcast.
Hey, so the Chatty Daddies podcast is over, and there's probably something that we got wrong. There's probably something that you would like to tell us. Well, you can. You can join the Chatty Daddies every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on the Stereo app, and you can actually be a part of our show.
In fact, we were asking for some advice this episode. So if you have any ideas on what I could do or what Nick could do with his kids or even Trey, you can help us out while we're doing our stereo because you get to be a part of it. You get to send in questions, you get to send in comments, and we get to interact with you.
So follow us. I'm at On The Tradio.
I'm at Nick Adams.
I'm at JSI5.
You can join in, ask us some questions just like we did this past Tuesday. We had a lot of fun. You should have been with us last Tuesday. If you missed it, here's a little piece of it.
Nick, I think we need some advice from you.
I have a daughter that just turned 4, and we went through the terrible 2s and the thriller 3s, and she's got such a nasty little attitude sometimes. I know that you went through a similar thing with your son, and I was just wondering, I can't remember if you said if y'all went to counseling for the toddler. Do you think that that's an appropriate age for her to go to? Do you think that's something that would be useful? Because we're definitely open to ideas.
Yeah, great question. So yeah, I've been open about this. We did go see like a family counselor, therapist, like a behavioral counselor or something for my son who, I mean, it was even before he was 2. He was just starting to just be so mean. And that was helpful. You know, it was good. And I'm the person that I'm not going to see a therapist for anything because I got this. I'm too macho to do that. But I was so glad we did it.
So don't miss the Chatty Daddies after party over on the Stereo app. We're going to be live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central. See you there.